This is a kingdom almost 550 years old. This is the Iwere kingdom, presided over by the Olu of Warri, who is regarded as the paramount traditional ruler of the Ishekiri people. But to truly understand what is going on here and why these people have gathered, let me take you back a little into the history of this ancient kingdom. Hello explorers, long ago around 1480, a prince from Benin Kingdom, Prince Ginua, who was a son of the Oba of Benin, journeyed southwards towards the Niger Delta and eventually settled in a place called Ijala. Today, Ijala is a traditional resting ground and burial site for the Olus of Warri. Ginua established the royal dynasty and became the first Olu of Warri. He later died around 1510 and his successor Ijije eventually established himself at Ode Ishekiri, which became the ancestral political center of the kingdom. And there is something interesting about the title of the Olu. The appellation Ogiame, which is associated with the Olu, is traditionally translated as the king of the river. And considering the deep connection between the Ishekiri people and the waterways of the Niger Delta, that title makes perfect sense. Now, fast forward over 5 centuries later, on August 21st, 2021, His Royal Majesty Ogiame Atuwase III was crowned the 21st Olu of Warri. And today, 5 years after that historic coronation, the people have gathered to celebrate their king and mark 5 years of his blissful reign. The anniversary celebration actually began on the 16th of August with a visit to the Royal Museum inside the palace. And on the 17th, His Majesty visited Ode Shekiri, the ancestral heart of the kingdom. And yes, the Olu even took a scooter ride. And apparently, this is one of his favorite fun things to do. On the 18th, the celebration moved to Ijala, the traditional resting ground and burial site of the Olus of Warri. Here, a tree is traditionally planted over each royal grave, and the tree associated with Ginua is said to be the tallest in that area. There is also a fascinating tradition surrounding this sacred place. A living Olu of Warri does not step foot in Ijala. The reigning Olu will only return here after his death, when his remains are brought to the ancestral resting grounds to join his ancestors. Then, on the 19th, there was a general cleanup and sanitation exercise across Warri, carried out in honor of the Olu's 5th coronation anniversary. And then came the 20th. People gathered by the water for a ceremony deeply connected to the identity and tradition of the Ishekiri people, the Red Boat Regatta. But trust me, you will want to see what happened here. So I have decided that in my next post, I will share everything about the Red Boat Regatta. I am Teddy the Explorer, keeping the history and traditions of Nigeria alive. Don't forget to like, comment, and follow for more exciting adventures.
Honor and respect, divine, all blessed, honor and respect. Greetings and salutations, one and all. It is Monday, August 24th, 2026. The moon is in Capricorn, creating a reserved, disciplined, and structured atmosphere. Ideal for planning and focus, but we need a restraint and patience during this time. Focus on structure and discipline. This is a day for planning, organizing, and refining ideas. Avoid impulsive decisions. The moon alert and Capricorn's moon influence make restraint key. For earth signs, this is a strong day for solid, lasting projects and professional growth. For air signs, be mindful of sensitivity and avoid unnecessary conflicts. In short, today, August 24, 2026, is a day of structured energy with Capricorn moon lending a serious, organized tone, best for planning, patience, and avoiding overreach. And we certainly appreciate your continued support, participation, donation, sponsorship, support of our ongoing GoFundMe campaign by visiting www.voodooday.org, voodooday.org, VODOUDAY.org. This is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes, beloved. And tonight we talk about charms, talismans, amulets, wanga, and gree-grees. Family, come on in, join in, settle your spirits. You are tuned in to another edition of Voodoo Hoodoo 101, powered by NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. And I am your host, your brother, your guide at the crossroads, the Divine Prince, Ty and Mecca, coming to you live from the heart of Treme, where the ancestors still walk and the spirits still speak. And tonight we step into one of the oldest, deepest, most misunderstood corners of African spiritual science. Tonight we talk about charms, talismans, amulets, wanga, and grigris. Not as superstition, not as folklore, not as tourist trinkets, but as living instruments of power, as tools of protection, healing, justice, manifestation, and spiritual communication, as extensions of the hands of our ancestors. Because in root work, in conjure, in Vodou, in voodoo, in voodoo, nothing is random. Nothing is decorative. Nothing is just for show. Every charm has a purpose. Every amulet has a lineage. Every grigri has a spirit. Every wanga has a mission. And these are not objects, beloved. These are relationships. These are contracts. These are technologies older than the Middle Passage, older than the kingdoms of Dahomey and Congo, older than the first drumbeat that called the spirits down. So let's start with the basics. A charm is a carrier of intention. And it may be simple, it may be small, it may be made of everyday materials, but it holds a focused purpose. A charm is like a whisper to the universe that never stops speaking. A talisman is a magnet. It draws, it attracts, it pulls towards you the conditions you seek: prosperity, opportunity, love, strength, courage. A talisman is a spiritual beacon that says, "Come here." An amulet is a shield. It repels, it blocks, it deflects. It stands between you and harm. It is the spiritual equivalent of a locked door, a strong wall, a guardian standing watch. A grigri is a working. It is a living packet of power. It is crafted with prayer, with breath, with herbs, with roots, with minerals, with personal concerns, with spirit. It is fed. It is awakened. It is maintained. A grigri is not carried, it is partnered with. And wanga is serious business. And wanga is a command. It is a petition backed by force. It is a spiritual directive sent into the world with intention, clarity, and consequence. A wanga is not casual. It is not decorative. It is not for beginners. And it is a tool of justice, of correction, of protection, of restoration. It is a reminder that African spiritual systems are not passive. They are active. They are responsive. They are powerful. Now let's talk about the deeper meaning. In authentic ATR, African traditional religious systems, and in Pan-African spiritual practices across the diaspora, these items are not magic tricks. They are extensions of cosmology. They are expressions of worldview. They are embodiments of the understanding that spirit is everywhere, that energy is everywhere, that intention shapes reality, and that humans are not powerless in the face of the unseen. In Voodoo, charms and amulets are tied to the spirits of the land, the ancestors, and the forces of nature. In Haitian Vodou, Gregories and Wanga are tied to the Loa, to the mysteries, to the spirits who walk with us. In Louisiana voodoo and hoodoo, these tools are tied to the land, the river, the swamp, the crossroads, the graveyard, the kitchen, the garden, the home, and the hands of the elder who kept these traditions alive through slavery, through segregation, through silence. And here in New Orleans, Louisiana, this sacred crossroads of cultures, languages, nations, and spirits, these practices took on new life. They blended with indigenous medicine. They blended with Catholic symbolism. They blended with Congo root work, Yoruba cosmology, Fon ritual science, and the lived experience of black people surviving in a world that tried to erase us. This is why NOIVD exists. New Orleans International Voodoo Day is not just a celebration. It is a reclamation. It is a restoration. It is a declaration that these traditions are alive, valid, powerful, and worthy of respect. It is a space where practitioners from across the diaspora can gather, share, teach, challenge, and uplift one another. It is a space where the diversity of practice is honored, not feared, where lineage is respected, not policed, where authenticity is rooted in integrity, not ego. And so tonight's conversation is about understanding these tools: charms, talismans, amulets, wanga, grigri. They are not relics. They are not museum pieces. They are not souvenirs. They are living technologies of survival, empowerment, and spiritual sovereignty. They are the reason our ancestors made it through the Middle Passage. They are the reasons our people survived plantations, lynch mobs, and laws designed to break us. They are the reason our communities still have healers, diviners, root workers, conjure doctors, and spiritual leaders who carry knowledge that was never written down, but always remembered. These tools are part of our inheritance. And when you understand them, when you respect them, when you learn how they function within the cosmology of ATR and Pan African spiritual traditions, you begin to understand that African spirituality is not superstition. It is science. It is psychology. It is energy work. It is ancestral technology. It is cultural memory. It is resistance. It is liberation. So tonight we open the door. Tonight we explore the meanings, the uses, the implications, the experiences, and the responsibilities that come with working with these tools. As my beloved co-hosts, panelists, and those present with us live in chat begin to enter the conversation, join us on platform with your camera, your photo avatar, your microphone, by way of our QR code in the upper left corner of your screen with the little Streamyard ducky head, blue ducky head in the middle, or by way of our scrolling URL. You may join us here now live on platform or by entering your questions and comments clearly in the chat where we can see and possibly respond. Tonight we improve and we move forward in the understanding that African spirituality is not superstition. It is science, it is psychology, it is energy work, it is ancestral technology, it is cultural memory, it is resistance, it is liberation. So tonight we open the door, we explore the meanings, the uses, the implications, and responsibilities and experiences that come with working with these tools. Tonight we honor the elders who taught us Tonight we honor the ancestors who carried these practices across ocean. Tonight we honor the spirits who continue to guide us. This is Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Clip it. This is Voodoo Hoodoo 101. This is NOIVD. And tonight we walk deeper into the mysteries with respect, with reverence, and with the understanding that power is not given, power is cultivated. Ayibobo, 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 and Asheo. Again, greetings and salutations, one and all. Thank you so much, my beloved Nina Lloyd, for joining us tonight here live on platform in the chat. Honor and respect to you and yours, Apostle Hudson. We certainly do appreciate your continued support and participation. Greetings to our beloved house member, family member, brother, initiated member of the Source, Jeff Austin. Thank you so much for joining us live in chat tonight. And to our beloved co-host and panelist, beloved Bianca Johnson Plessy, an initiated member of the Source and a faithful committed team member of NOIVD. And our beloved co-host, beloved and moderator, beloved Tony Martinez, Tony Val Martinez, the Queen Mother, community activist, community mother, community resource person, and indeed community agitator where needed. Greetings and salutations, one and all. How you doing? And what say you this evening?
Hello, everyone. How you doing out there on the platform and in our listening audience? We really appreciate our listening audience. Um, I've had a Star of David around my neck for over 40 years without taking it off. When I was searching for my place in the spiritual world and realized that I belong to the lost to the tribe of Judah, I went looking for a Star David when I realized its true meaning. And I didn't have a lot of money, so I went into a used store. I wanted a good one. And you know how you get that gut feeling and it's like something's talking in your head? And I'm looking at all the different wands and I'm touching some of them. And I hear this voice in my head saying, no, not that one. And I put it back down. I'm looking for the bigger ones, okay? So I see this little one and I pick it up and it's like, yes, that's it. That's it. You need this one. And I got it and I've had it and I refuse to take it off. It's my protection. I put it in my hand. I prayed over it. I cleaned it with Florida water. And, it just I never take it off. I go to the doctor. They tell me about an x-ray. You got to take that off your neck. I tell them I never take it off. I put it in my mouth. I raise it up high to my hairline and put the star in my mouth rather than take it off. I had it when I delivered my youngest child. I had it in my mouth. Okay. Um, it's my protection. Um, Personally, I also have some Adinkra earrings that Spirit told me I needed to get. I cleaned them the same way. I prayed over them. I told them what I needed them to do. I would always wear them to work where I needed mass protection because your coworkers, no matter how much they laugh and grin in your face, over the years, I have found that they scheming behind your back. And everybody seemed to think I wanted their job when all I wanted to do was do what I had to do and be left alone. What about you, Sister Bianca? You have any amulets or anything that you must have on you constantly?
Good evening, everyone out there. Um, yes, there are some things that I do have. One would be like the six pentacles of the King Solomon charm. So one of them is like the six pentacles of Jupiter, and then one is the six pentacles of Mars. The six pentacles of Jupiter is like protection from all earthly danger. And those are kind of like working with songs. So like, Psalms 22, verse 16 to 17. So, certain different pentacles and charms. It's not just you just put it on to wear. Just like you were saying, like you have to put the intuition in it. You pray over it and you cleanse it and you put your energy into it. And then another one is the six pentacles of Mars, and that is just like that specific charm is like the owner, like whoever the owner of that seal, it only belongs to that owner. So cannot, like, nobody cannot come near you to harm you or attack. If they do, then a weapon shall turn against them, and that goes along with Psalms 91. So certain different seals or certain different charms or amulets or anything that people have and own, like you said, it's not to just go to the store and you buy it and then it's just supposed to just does it work for you. Um, it's a lot that you have to put into it to make those things work for you. Then another thing that I like to have is a lodestone with magnetic sand. I have like a big jar of magnetic sand, and I like to carry that in like a little mojo bag with other things, and it depends on where I'm going or what I'm working toward. And I know that like with lodestones, it's even though there is a magnetic sand with it, but that still works as the same as other stuff. After a while, that magnetic sand may not track on that stone, so you still have to like re-energize it. You still have to cleanse it. You still have to feed it. You still have to re-energize that stone for whatever you want it to do in your favor. Also, what I like to do when it comes down to cleansing, I'm kind of more of an outside earthy person. So even if it comes to my crystals or stones or talismans or amulets, I always take it outside. Like I try to figure out what moon phase we are in. Like if it's a full moon or a warning moon or anything or quarter moon, I figure out the moon phase it is, and I bring my stuff outside at nighttime to put it in the ground. So I try to bring everything back to nature, either if it's water, earth, fire, like incense smoke, or the grounding of dirt. So I always plant a lot of my stuff in the dirt at nighttime, facing towards the the moon direction to get that energy. So it's a lot of different things that people could do in order like cleansing or re-energizing their items that works for them.
And
I
I
certainly
know,
appreciate
like,
that,
when I get,
Sister Bianca, particularly your sort of calling on the elements. I wear layers of charms, talismans, um, amulets, and I typically start from a foundation of the elements. Now I do wear a talisman that many of you have heard me talk about many times. I've been wearing a naturally formed, unpolished, uncut, naturally double terminated, and it's actually a self-healed double terminated clear quartz crystal around my neck for over 30 years. I had it set in silver right after Hurricane Katrina, but prior to that, I wore it in a hand crochet pouch around my neck. And I've, adjusted and evolved metals over the year. When I was much younger, I liked brass. I liked gold, rose gold, the entwined copper, steel, and one other mineral they typically like to braid together into jewelry. But I settled into silver probably right about 30, 35 years ago. And I typically focus primarily on silver, which is a receptive uh, metal, but also an amplifying metal in terms of psychic energy, spiritual energy, moon energy. I've worn an ankh in place of the cross or the crucifix for many decades in silver around my neck, always underneath my clothes, along with a uchet, or a Egyptian eye of Horus, with a piece of green meteorite in the eye. Many of you are familiar with Moldavite. Moldavite was created when a giant meteorite slammed into the earth, and the catastrophic impact fused local minerals and some of the meteorite into these green gemstones. And over the century, Moldavite has been prized for its beauty in jewelry making, but it also carries many uh, implications, symbolisms, meanings, and frequencies as a spiritual defense, as a spiritual protectant, as an amulet, and in some cases as a talisman. I certainly utilize other stones, bone, um, sometimes fossil material, depending on what I'm trying to do. Um, Many of the natural forms I utilize either in my pockets or hidden underneath my clothes or placed strategically around the house or around the temple or around a sacred space, or as Bianca also brought up in her speaking, I will often bury pieces as well in strategic locations to either create stronger senses of defense, protection, but also to draw, to call certain things into existence, into manifestation. And that's just some of the most active things that I utilize typically every day. Go ahead, Queen Mother. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, that's fine. Sometimes I've noticed for what I call no seen reason, I can't see it. My hand will automatically go and I'll clutch the Star of David around my neck. Like I noticed I was doing it, but I do it subconsciously. But then I start paying attention to try to figure out and look in my surroundings as to why I'm doing it. And I couldn't see a reason, so I figured it must be some spiritual reason why I'm clutching onto it, like for protection. I find myself doing that. When people say the hair raises on the back of your neck, my hand automatically clutches my Star of David like it's a shield, and I'm calling on it to protect me. Um, and my metal, I've tried the brass, the copper, the silver, and my metal, that's I most cling to is gold. Is gold. Before I got my Star David, I wore crystals, crystal earrings, crystal necklaces, rings with crystals in them. But once I got my Star David, I got away from the crystals. And those are the two things that I use basically. I sit out
Mm-hmm.
in the sun. The sun rises facing my front porch. I sit in the sun, I be sweating, but I always have a low cut shirt on so that the sun is shining on my Star of David. And I'll sit out there and my son will be like, Mama, why is you sitting out here in this hot sun? And I say, oh, I need sun to energize me. I need those vitamins. But I never take it off my neck to do it.
And that frequency of the Star of David, we say, as is above, so shall it be below. It's a powerful um, symbol throughout the ancient Aboriginal, indigenous, spiritual world. It's not, necessarily unique to one path, one tradition, one set of people. And when we,
Yes.
it
And we
certainly,
call it the Star of David, but it's actually the seal of Solomon. It was on his ring, and this is how he sealed his edits or whatever he was sending out, his messages to the other parts of the kingdom and other countries, and with the wax and stick the ring in it. And I guess it got passed down to David, and that's what we most call it. I like to refer to it really as the seal of Solomon. And as we know, Solomon had a special magic powers. You know, he dealt with a lot of stuff that we would consider voodoo and hoodoo today.
I know another
But
thing that I like to use, um, like cowrie shells. Like they're like little
Mm-hmm.
small miniature seashells, or cowrie shells. And so people use it for jewelry, but I like to have how like some people have like anxiety, like they feel it, like they have anxiety, they feel nervous or something. Some people have like little fidget things, or something that would kind of calm them down, and almost like having a bean sack. But I would have like a little sack of just like bunch of little mini cowrie shells in there, and I just like to wear, like I like to have them in my pocket. Like sometimes I carry them in my pocket or in the sack, and I hold in my hands. Like I don't know what it does, but it sometimes if I hold in my hands or rub them, or it's nearby, it kind of have like a calming effect to me when it kind of bring me back to like sea. Like it remind me of like bringing me back to sea or ocean, or like kind of back at home to Africa, where it kind of will set your mind and your energy into that calming place, that whatever the situation is, you're not so nervous or you don't have that anxiety and stuff. And I noticed that I do like to have a bunch of those in my pocket or in my sack, or just rolling around in my hands too.
I love cowrie shells. I love the jewelry. I wore them in my hair. I braided them into my kids' hair. I love cowrie shells. I have several pieces of the jewelry. I have odd cowrie shells. Well, not in this house yet, but they would fall on the floor and I would just leave them there. You know, wherever they landed and they got brushed around in the sweep, and I would never pick them up. But I love cowrie shells.
I like to use the large size cowrie shells, the ones that'll fit in the palm of my hand, like the size of a peach. And now I'm giving away some of my secrets. I like to pack tricks, and when I'm creating wangas, or sometimes even gree of a particular nature, to perform a very specific task, I like to use those much larger size cowries and pack them, add the herbs, the amulets, the other ingredients inside the large size cowrie, and then I'll put it in a little bag, Bianca, and carry it in my purse, or even in my medicine bag, depending on again what my target is and what I'm actively trying to do. When I'm creating wanga and gree in particular, they tend to be hot, they tend to be aggressive, active, um, and I would say offensive. They always have a goal, a plan, a design, a target, when I work with those instruments uniquely. But in terms of charms, talismans, amulets, I love my silver, though I do have gold, but I prefer silver, in the mineral kingdom, certainly beginning with quartz crystal, but many other stones like malachite, like jade, like black obsidian. They all have this their most unique and powerful and distinctive jobs and roles that they can perform independently as well as in combination with other ingredients, in a gree, in a medicine bag. I certainly do appreciate you all's attention and participation in the subject matter and the topic this evening. We always appreciate your active participation, Brother Ray Alexander. Thank you so much for continuing to support us and be live with us here on platform. Thank you so much to those of you who are visiting and listening and participating by way of IG. We certainly do appreciate you. Greetings to you and yours, Empress Neomar. We certainly do appreciate your participation and your active support. And everyone else who continues to join us by way of our independent and collective Facebook pages, groups, and profiles. We certainly do appreciate our bilingual, multilingual, and international listenership and participants by way of LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, and again, always thankful for our IG, Instagram listeners. And anywhere in the stratosphere you might be listening and intersecting this podcast. Again, we continue to invite your support, your participation, your donations, your sponsorship, your contributions to our ongoing GoFundMe campaign by visiting our website at www.vodouday.org, www.vodouday.org, voodooday.org, now in our 4th year. Until tomorrow, I'm offering you divine, all blessed peace and love, joy, and prosperity. Please do return with us at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on a platform near you or by way of our QR code or the scrolling URL. Remembering that all is truly and indeed a blessing. Until next time, Odabo, Ayibobo, good night. And
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
I have always wondered what are all the different tribes in Ghana and how do they work. I'm a Ghanaian myself, so I've always kind of had an idea. However, I've never fully understood it until I've gone and researched it, which I'm going to talk about today. So Ghana is home to over 100 different tribes, also interchangeably known as ethnic groups, each with their own languages, customs, history, and traditions. However, despite this diversity, Ghanaians as a whole share strong national identity, speaking multiple languages, as well as English, which is the official language. The first ethnic group I'm going to talk about today is Akan people. These guys are the largest ethnic group in Ghana, accounting for 45 to 47% of the overall population. The main languages spoken are Twi, Fanti, and Akuapem, and they can be divided into subgroups such as Ashanti, and me, myself, Mia, Santini. We also have Fanti, Akuapem, Achem, and Bono people, and they're known for the Ashanti Kingdom rich gold craftsmanship, the Kente cloth, which I'm actually wearing right now, and the importance of queen mothers and chiefs, which are the traditional leaders of Ghana. And they can be found mainly in the Ashanti region, which I've highlighted in red here. However, they can also be found in the central, eastern, western, and Bono regions of Ghana. The next group I'm going to talk about is Mo Dagbani people, who are primarily found in the northern region of Ghana and account for roughly 16 to 17% of the overall population. These guys can also be divided into subgroups such as the Gomba people, Mamprusi people, Nanumba people, and Mosi people, who are also found in the neighboring country of Burkina Faso. The languages that they mainly speak is Dagbani, Mampruli, and Dagari. Next up is Ewe people. These guys are found predominantly in southeastern Ghana in the Volta and Oti regions, and they can also be found in Togo. So in the way that Burkina Faso borders Ghana on the north, Togo borders Ghana on the east. They account for roughly 13% of the population, and the main language they speak is Ewe. And we have Ga Dangme people. These guys are indigenous to the Accra area, which I've highlighted in green here. If you didn't know, Accra is the capital city of Ghana, and they account for roughly 7% of the overall Ghanaian population. They can also be divided into Ga people and Dangme people, and they're famous for the Homo festival, and their position located by the coast was very important for trade and fishing. Of course, those are just some of the major ones. We also have Gama, Gwan people, and many more. But yeah, guys, every time I read into Ghana, I feel like I'm learning something new. So please educate me in the comments. But yeah, guys, like, follow, and thank you so much for watching.
Love my New Orleans. Respect the voodoo.
Please, allow me to show you something.
They say I'm crazy and that might be true. I got this right in my DNA, yeah, I'm coming for you. It's time we turn the tables, flip these motherfuckers on you. I wanna see you hanging from trees, it's time you pay for your dirt and your showtime. You created the monster, you created the beast. Now all this savagery you just gon' reap. I'm coming home, daddy, to the plantation, and I'm taking the lives of everybody, including the children, on some Nat Turner. Oh, do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. I met my girl Harriet at the gate. If you wanna know how she doing, yeah, she's straight. But she had one question: when we gon' get up? All that talking tough, yeah, we don't walk it tough. She got it locked and loaded, got that piece up on her side. She looked me in my eyes and said, "Meet you ready to ride?" Moving forward, you gotta use both eyes. Watch your front and watch your back. Keep your hands up on your gas. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. He sit at the table, but he don't order no bacon. He greet me in those words, assalamu alaikum. Got them glasses on his face and them waves in his head. He go by the name of Detroit West. He looks me in my eye and says, "You only get one try. Know that your biggest opposition will come from the inside." I know you wanna love them all, but don't even try, because they'll smile up in your face while plotting your demise. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. We are the children of the ancestors that weren't